body on your body.
I wanna rub my body on your body.
I wanna rub and love up. I wanna rub and kiss up. I wanna rub and jam up. I wanna rub and rub up. I wanna rub my body on your body.
Rub my body on your body.
Let me rub my body.
Your body.
I just get paid. I want to play. The vibes is right. I wanna hug up tight. No time to waste. I wanna work my waist. So come on now, babes. Give me a taste. I wanna rub my body on your body.
I wanna rub my body on your body.
Let me rub my body on your body.
I wanna rub my body on your body.
I wanna rub and love up. I wanna rub and kiss up. I wanna rub and jam up. I wanna rub and rub up. I wanna rub my body on your body.
I wanna rub my body on your body.
Let me rub my body on your body.
I wanna rub my body on your body.
Well, you know, I'm feeling, 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 I'm feeling. Smoke in my brain. I wanna do my thing. Work up a sweat until I soak in wet. Rub your body, show no mercy. Because I'm feeling tipsy, I'm feeling freaky. I wanna rub my body on your body.
If you are looking to have your statutory declaration, affidavit of income, identity, damage or lost passport, lost license, tenancy agreement, agreement of settlement, power of attorney, last will and testament, and certification of documents, then you need to visit the Alistair Collins firm, located at the Killian Mall, 162 Lamaha Street in Georgetown, between Camp and Waterloo Street. Alistair Collins is a commissioner of oaths and a justice of the peace. Make certain you visit him or call for more information at 649-6410 or 685-6448 or 503-1451. And there's adequate parking available. Go down to the Alistair Collins firm and have all of your legal issues settled and brought to the fore. Alistair Collins firm. Contact them at Alistair Collins firm,
All right, hey, guess what? Good evening. It's 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. We're getting ready to rock and roll. And what you can do is, and what we usually do here, is we do not beg you guys to share the link. We just do not do that. We know that it is something that you are going to do. And so we only say it in the beginning, and that's it. We don't say it in the middle, neither there's no use for us to say it in the end. Because if I'm coming off, there's no need for me to ask you guys to share it. I'll just come off and say good night. Have a great night. So in the beginning, we are just going to ask you once. Share the link for us, please. It's live. I am actually live tonight. This is not a rebroadcast. I am live. You will see my face shortly. It's 7 minutes after 9 o'clock. It's Friday, the 22nd day of October. Oh, yes, 2021. We have a guest this evening. We do have a guest, and I will bring him on shortly. So you see who this individual is. No, it's not Dr. Richard Van Charles. No, it's not the opposition leader, Mr. Joseph Frederick Harmon. No, it's not Aubrey Compton Norton. These guys are Frederick Compton. Oh, Lord. As they say at Border Market, this one more people. These guys got some old, fancy, long-time name like in Compton. Imagine naming a little baby, come and see Compton. Look at Compton or Frederick. Now, I have a cousin named Compton. He is now deceased. And I have an uncle by the name of Frederick. We usually call him Uncle Frederick. So if he's listening, good evening to you, Uncle Frederick. But cousin Compton was something else, though. He was something else in that village of Philippi Farm. Those of you who are from Philippi Farm, you know Uncle Compton what I'm talking about. So Aubrey's name is Aubrey Compton Norton. And this young man here, Joseph Frederick, Harmon. Yes, good evening to all of you. So we have a packed night this evening. More soft, quiet, big people show, right? Okay, I'm sorry. You know me and my sarcasm sometimes, but you're going to see our guest. I have some questions for him, but there's a reason why I put this up here. I want to talk to you guys. I want to talk to you guys just for a couple minutes. I really want to talk to you guys. But again, good evening to all of you. Share the link, right? As they usually say, share the link. Because at the end of this program, we want to be able to get 44,000, not 42, 44,000. Now, those things, the numbers are basically good, but we don't pay much attention and stress on that, right? So let's get down here to some business. The PNCR Congress, PNCR's Congress is supposedly set for December 11th. Nominations day is set supposedly for November 11th, which is just a couple days from now. So far, we have heard that Joseph Frederick Harmon will be running for the leadership. We have also heard that Aubrey Compton Norton, sorry. I'm a little bit intoxicated, right? Aubrey Compton Norton. And then Dr. Richard Van Charles. Now, here's my take on this. Since the opposition leader, Joseph Harmon, is in the race, I will be surprised if former president, still president, David Arthur, another old man named Arthur. Good evening to you, Mr. Granger. But David Arthur Granger, I'll be surprised if he gets in the race. I'll be surprised. But I'll have my take more on that, but I'll be surprised. And then we have Valda Lawrence, the chairman, the current chairman of the PNCR. It looks as though she is not going to get in the race. But this race can get ticklish, because there are more persons, I suspect, who may want to get in the race. Some of them want to be nominated. I don't know whether they're going to make it, but some of them want to be nominated. So there may be more persons in this race. There may be more person in this race. Let me just say this, that don't expect me to get in the race. Don't expect me to get in the race because I'm not a member of the PNCR. But what I want you guys to understand, that this is a democracy. And if you support Compton, it is all well and good. If you support Frederick, it is all well and good. If you support Dr. Richard Van West Charles, it is all well and good, or whoever you support. But do not take this battle into the gutter. There are some supporters of Compton, Aubrey, who it appears as though they want to beat up people, fight people, cuss up people, wrestle people in the mud. It is not going to work. That bullying tactics is not going to work. Do not work. If you guys support Compton, y'all support Compton. Support Compton. Stay in your corner. Support Compton. Do not disrespect any other person or persons who support Frederick or Dr. Van West Charles. Do not. Now this, I will say this. So far it appears as though Compton is winning this Facebook battle. Compton is winning this Facebook battle. But Facebook battle and Facebook voting is different than those who have to vote on the ground for Congress. It is different. Now, if all y'all Compton supporters want to go in the mud and sling this out, the end result is not going to be nice, because nobody is going to win. No one is going to win other than your political opponent. That is the PPP. No one is going to win. So y'all could fight and cuss up and pull people, and because somebody may support Frederick, y'all want to support Compton. Not everybody going to support Compton. Not everybody likes Compton. Not everybody wants to sit on a glass with Compton. And not everybody wants to drink with I'm talking about soda, mind you, with Frederick. No. Not everybody wants to sit down and talk COVID-19 vaccine with Dr. Van West Charles. So y'all, I'm telling y'all, dip on y'all Medi. Support who y'all want to support, but don't get vexed when other people support who they want to support. This all I'm telling y'all. Y'all should see my warning face. That is all I'm telling y'all, a warning y'all from today. Y'all should see my warning face. Good. Good evening to all of you guys. It's democracy, right? Let the people run for whatever they're running, and let the people choose whomever they want to choose. Don't bully people into choosing. Don't cuss people because they're in choosing somebody that y'all like. All of y'all can't like the same person. All of us can't like the same person. But not because somebody likes another candidate means that that person should be hated. It is democracy. That's all I'm saying. Now, look, I have a guest this evening. His name, I'll bring him on. Some of you may know him. But for those of you who have already shared the link, thank you guys. That's all I'll say. I ain't begging nobody to share no link any longer. I'm done with that. This for other people. Share the link. Share the link. They should change their program to share the link. Mr. The Honorable Odu Best. Welcome for the first time on Straight Up. How are you, sir?
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me here, and a very good evening to your viewers. It's a pleasure.
It is. Now, before we get into who you are and all these sort of things, do you agree with me that it's a democracy and people should be allowed to choose whomever they want?
Precisely. And we need to be very respectful in doing so. At the end of the day, we're one people.
Thank you so much. Now, let's get into some real business here. For those who might be seeing you for the first time, I don't want them to mistake you to be the son of Aubrey Compton Norton, but have you been told that before?
That's quite humorous. Yeah, yes, people have been said a lot of things about that and other stuff. So hey, I'm used to people saying stuff. Guyanese are just funny people. Hey, I wouldn't mind being accused of resembling him because he's a handsome guy.
Because I told somebody, said, wait a minute, you're having Aubrey Norton's son on? Odu Best is Aubrey Norton's son. I'm glad that you've heard that before, but welcome to the show, my friend. Welcome to the show. Give us a little background of who you are. And what you do. Yeah.
Well, a very good night again to everyone and everyone listening. And thank you for welcoming me into your homes. I am Odu Best, right? I'm a Guyanese. I don't have another nationality. I'm 100% Guyanese. There's no dual nationality here. I was fortunate to study in the Middle East. A few years ago, was considered the most qualified in the Caribbean, Arabic and Middle Eastern Studies. Yes, that's my second language. I speak a few others. And from my time I came back to this country, I've been involved in activism. I always want to work for the people and with the people. That's my passion from a very tender age. 2015, I was very instrumental because the coalition presented a hope or a line of hope, and I worked very hard with the coalition. I worked on the East Bank. I was very instrumental in defeating the present government on the East Bank in 2015. And in Diamond, which is the biggest constituency outside of Georgetown, we received a lot of support there, and I became very popular there. And for persons who don't know, Mr. Courtney Crum-Ewing that got killed in Diamond, he was in my camp. He was my second in charge. And when they killed him, I was the person who found him in 3rd Avenue. I was also the person that Niger used on his phone with. He's the first politician that came on the scene. And I was the person who had to face his family to give them the bad news and get my troops up back together, mobilize them, and continue to campaign, and we came out victorious. That's just a little about me.
Indeed. Give us a little, and thank you so much, Udu. Somebody else in Guyana popular they used to call Udu. Udu.
All right. Yeah, he was Lyndon Forbes Sampson born. Apart from him being called the Kabaka, he was also known as Udu. That was one of his other names. But that's my real name. So I usually say to people, as long Guyana created 2 of those. So as long as one alive, they may have some hope.
So Burnham used to say when he dead, another Rasta will take his place. And I'm now wondering, another Rasta? Udu.
Well, we may have to, perhaps. We have to wait to see.
Yeah, good to really good to have you on the show, man. I know we're gonna have fun for another 45 minutes. But describe to us. Yeah, thanks. Describe to us. How was it like on the night when Courtney Crum-Ewing was shot and killed? You said you were there. Describe that moment, sir.
It was very devastating for us. This is someone that the strategy that he got killed while doing it was a strategy that himself and me crafted. Him crafted that strategy. We used to meet every night and we used to plan, and that was a strategy was going to be one of the most powerful strategy that was ever used in political campaign in this country. And when I received the phone call that something just went down in 3rd Avenue, and I moved to the scene, unfortunately, I found the police was already there. I don't know how they appeared there so quickly. And it didn't take me long after I received the information to reach there. Within a couple of minutes, I was there. The police was already there, and it really sent me a serious message. And I know that I had to pick myself up because I used that actually as a catalyst to push even farther and stronger to achieve what we had to achieve, because I know what he wanted to see, and I had to make sure that he was never disappointed, even in death.
What is your position, knowing that Courtney Crum-Ewing has not gotten justice, his family that is, sorry, even though the coalition promised, especially the AFC at their wake, at their headquarters, there was a wake for Courtney Crum-Ewing. They promised that there's going to be justice. No stone will be left unturned. They're out of office. We're still waiting to see those stones turn.
My brother, I was very disappointed. And then I'm not too surprised, because I spoke to, at the time, this guy was in charge of the East Bank, Mr. Winston Felix, and I spoke to him by phone that same night, and I asked him, I said, I would like to have a community wait. I'm going to make a strong statement, and I'm going to make them pay for this. And he asked, who's going to pay for that? So I held for Mr. Courtney Crum-Ewing one of the biggest community wake they ever had at the tarmac in Diamond. I went on TV. I went on the I went around and I begged. For 2 days I was riding a motorcycle, and I got funds, and I threw a community wake at the tarmac with tents and everything, music, everything, food, everything, even banks throwing their support with some alcoholic beverages, whatever they had at the time. And not one of the parties showed the support behind that. So that was a message to me, a very early message. So when they actually came into power and they kicked him to the curb, right, the way I was even neglected, despite of all the efforts being made, I'm not really surprised, but it's very, very disappointing, because that incident created, right, the emphasis for the drive that brought the coalition into power. If you rewind and you go back from that incident, is when the momentum actually picked up for the coalition that brought the coalition to power. So to treat the people who were part of that incident the way it was treated was very disappointing.
Do you think that, well said, I think I agree with that. Very, very disappointing indeed. Very disappointing. Now, you said when you got to the scene when Courtney Crum-Ewing was assassinated, minutes after you were there, but the police officers were already there. Do you believe, deep in your heart, Mr. Odu-Best, do you believe that the police know who killers are of Courtney Crum-Ewing?
That was my view, and still my view up to today, like today. I strongly believe the police are aware of what's going on, and they it's clear. At least that was for me. I spoke to a police guy on the scene. I asked him, are you aware of what took place here? Do you understand who the person you have killed? And his response to me indicated I still have suspicions as if they knew what took place.
Well said. 24 minutes after 9 o'clock, the Honorable Odu-Best is with us this evening, and we thank all of you for joining us. We're going to get into some more questions. In the beginning, your introduction, you did say that you were out of the country. You studied Arabic and some other languages. What are some of the other languages you do speak? A
little bit of Spanish and some other stuff, but I don't really focus on that much. But my strongest of the lot that I speak apart from English is Arabic.
Is Arabic. So we say salam alaikum.
Yeah. And walaikum salam, we say the kind of stuff. I can speak anything basically in Arabic. Anything.
So we say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Break that down for the people. Let them know what that says. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yalla.
Alhamdulillah.
Yalla.
And it's quite coincidental now that we played around gaffing this thing with Arabic, and our leaders are in Dubai, and that's an Arabic country. That's an Arab country.
Whilst they're in Dubai, let me say this to you. I'm glad that you brought that up. Whilst they're in Dubai, it reminds me of the people right there in Guyana, in Tiger Bay, right? Right there in Guyana, in Tiger Bay. And I say this because the people in Tiger Bay are not getting any attention at all. This was a couple of years back when they were bulldozing the people's stalls and houses and stuff in Tiger Bay. And now they are in Dubai talking about the richness of the country, and the people are punishing. What is your take on the punishment, the starvation of people in Guyana, unemployment? But yet they're in Dubai talking about the richness of Guyana and inviting all those people there to come and drink out the milk and eat out the honey in Guyana.
You know, what is unfortunate, right? And I need to touch on this. And why Guyana is in such a great position. Guyana is in a great position, a far greater position in Dubai, Saudi Arabia, the Iraq, or any one of those countries who have had oil, who have developed their country to this pinnacle. Because when Dubai discovered oil, Dubai basically had nothing. Dubai started from zero. Dubai had nothing. Dubai had zero. Now Guyana, we are starting from 50% going up. We started from 50%. So we started from some place, a far better place than where Dubai started. What I expect them to do when they go to this country is to find out the mechanism that they use to catapult the people out of poverty and for them to be in who they are today. I think that this is what they should be focusing on, not trying to work with those leaders who already established themselves and established the country and try to rip us off as a people. I don't expect that. I don't expect that to happen. It's just very unfortunate. So, see that I noticed you were off just now. Were we still on air while you were off?
Yes, go ahead. You're still on.
Okay. Yeah. So what I'm saying here is that when we look at the Dubai, at the Guyana situation, Guyanese people are very strong and determined, and they're able to make things happen. I've lived in the Arab Peninsula for 6 years. I've studied there also. And what I've learned from the people, they don't have our ability as it relates to thinking ahead and making things happen, innovative thinkers. They don't have that. We have that. We are 50. Guyana have been given edge. We've been given edge as it compares to Dubai and even Saudi Arabia, those countries. But yet those countries came, used just one natural resource that they had, just oil. And now those people are around the world leaders. Now we are at a far better position. Why it is, we are having such a difficulty of crafting a developmental plan and moving forward. Instead, we are focusing heavily on the middle class or the upper class and enriching them and trying to enrich the people down at the bottom. Those people in their countries, these people actually pay people to educate themselves. The higher your education, the more money you get. The higher you decide to go to learn, the more money you get. I've been there, I've lived there. One person getting married, a certain amount of money to start the family. I haven't seen a plan, and this was unfortunate. We just don't think, our leaders, just for some reason or the other, just don't think that they need to develop us as a people. They need to keep us, because it's very strange to see our leader, Afro-Guyanese, going on the world stage and keep trying to beg for money.
The man who sits there as president. Look, not my leader. Yeah. That's for sure, but continue.
But I respect your position. I respect your position. Sure. No, why would they go there and continue to beg for money? Beg for money when Guyana have more than enough, and we don't have 1 million people, and they have not crafted a plan, a developmental plan, to really and truly enrich the people. All I'm seeing happening is that they're crafting plans to get rich people richer. And now they bring other more sophisticated persons economically and scientifically to come take advantage of us and rape us further. It's quite unfortunate. Which brings me to the point that...
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, sir.
What I am okay, which brings me to the point, and something I am trying to push at this point in time, because the people of Guyana, as we all know, we have a number of races, and the Afro-Guyanese among the majority of the people, but yet the Afro-Guyanese are so much way behind when it comes to economics, and that is the major problem we're having in this country, that's causing members of the Afro-Guyanese community to feel underprivileged, denied, and some of them feel the need to retaliate in a particular way to create that balance that is missing. That is why I am saying we need to start, particularly as Afro-Guyanese, we need to start back focusing on what our foreparents have left for us. We know about that. We know our foreparents bought 236 villages. That's a lot of land. We need to start from there. We need to have these lands under the control of a committee that has the interests of our people, our economics at heart. You understand? Because a lot of these villages fall under NDCs. The case in Buxton, it falls under FOWS. The leadership of FOWS NDC has no interest in Buxton, development of Buxton. Friendship on the East Bank of Guyana falls under Craig. They have no interest in development of Friendship. People come from left, right, north, and center, taking lands, and that is ancestral land. That's heritage land. Private property was bought. I am saying we need to start from there. We know this is what we have. This was bought. We have transport for these lands. I think the Attorney General is seeking in some areas to take lands away from some that is theft and give it to other persons using something in the law. You can't take away people's lands like that. And if you're serious about development and you're serious about equity, when it comes to the people of this nation, one of the biggest races, you need to have a balance because we live in a capitalist world and everything is on the basis of finances. Everything is on the basis of economics. And if everything is on the basis of economics, we need to ensure, because do you know, a lot of our people don't even know that Afro-Guyanese own the largest portion of land in Guyana. You know, people don't know that. And that's a fact. There is no other, and just before it slipped me, that piece of history there is the richest history of this land, because throughout the Western Hemisphere, such an action was never repeated, only in Guyana, not even in America, not in Haiti, not in no other part of the Western world. Former slaves put themselves into co-ops and went about and bought large portions of land, organized it, developed it, right? And work in the interest. It happened no other part of the Western world. That's a very rich piece of history that needs to be kept alive, and that should form the basis of our the Afro-Guyanese economic drive. And if the president, as we know, if he went to the UN and he talked a lot of things, even made a lot of mistakes in pronouncing things. As one guy said, he probably made those mistakes because he probably wasn't sincere in what he was saying. So God deliberately, or some people say the ancestor deliberately caused him to stutter and make mistakes, and people have fun of it. But the wisdom in him stuttering is to draw attention to a critical thing what he was saying. So if he's serious about development in this country, because when you're speaking about development, the country, you got to speak to everyone, include Afro-Guyanese included. So if you were seriously you want to develop, say, well, okay, we can have one holistic plan. No, we already have our thing. Our foreparents left us well. And we are saying we need that to move forward.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, but
Go ahead.
let me caution some of our listeners, and I do it with all due respect, that there are not a lot of people who are being ridiculous, just one or two, and that is expected. But the bulk are serious people listening to this program and commenting as well. And our operator, Lemon, would delete any comment that is derogatory towards our guest or disrespectful. We will do this for every guest. So this is a show that you come and you respect our platform, you respect us, what we do, and you respect our guest, whether you disagree with what the guest has to say. Do not be calling anybody names at all. You will be deleted and blocked. That is a message that our operator, Lemon, has for anybody. So that's all I wish to say. Let me ask you this, Mr. Best. Whatever Irfan Ali and those guys said at the United Nations, right? Obviously, we all know that they're not sincere. Do you think that this regime, this installed regime, headed by those guys, Irfan Ali, Jack Deo, and their colleagues, do you see them as being anti-African Guyanese? Do you see them as being racist based on their policies?
Well, I can be very frank with you. And I'm going to use the statements that the present vice president have been saying since when he was opposition leader. When Barra Jack Deo was opposition leader, he said a few times on his weekly brief press conferences, he is going to push hard to include Afro-Guyanese in his government. He don't care if you have to fight with the leadership of the PPP to make this to ensure that this happens. The main fact that he has to say something like that says that there's an intrinsic problem with the PPP where they feel and that this should be the style of politics on race, although the statistics will show and has shown that the Indo-Guyanese are no longer the majority in this country. They still hold on to a politics, right, that does not serve the interests. And that is unfortunate. Once the vice president had to say something like that publicly, it's because of what's happening there privately, that he felt the need that he has to say this so that he can get the cooperation from his foes to do what he wants to do, to make it look like a united front as a Guyanese, all inclusive, including Afro-Guyanese. So, and he is just, well, influencing the party to somewhat, but I don't think he has total control. So it's clear from what I've seen happening in terms of the contracts being given out. It's clear from what I saw, the way people are reacting and people are treating each other and how the money is being distributed across the country. There is an ethnic situation. And it's economic warfare and ethnic warfare. That's what's happening in Guyana. And you know what's sad? You know what's sad? As I mentioned in one of my videos previously, what is sad is that Afro-Guyanese is among the third people that officially, because their claims are so that they were here even before the whites, doing business with the Amerindians. Afro-Guyanese have been here hundreds of years before Indo-Guyanese came. Indo-Guyanese came and take over an industry that Afro-Guyanese used to run, that of the sugar industry. We used to run the sugar industry. The lodges and these things that the Indo-Guyanese brothers and sisters came and inherited is what we have built and left and run away from because we refuse to be placed in a situation that we don't want to be. So we build these things so that they can come and feel comfortable. Even when they came here, as the maltreatment went towards them after they came here, we were very supportive of them, right? And ensure we help them being lashed out towards them from the former slave masters. Now, what is striking is that when our people in this country sit to speak on Guyanese history, and it reaches politics for some reason or the other. They usually start from Chedi and Bornum. The history or the story of Guyana didn't start there. It started way before. And if we are serious about this country, we need to educate ourselves on a history holistically, on what took place there and what was built upon and what was neglected, that we know what are the changes that are necessary so that we can develop this country. Most Guyanese, because that is politics too. That is politics. All that took place in the sugar during the white-owned plantation, all that is politics. Right? We supported Indo-Guyanese. Why now my Indo-Guyanese brothers and sisters now feel that they are superior? That is why I find strange. Why would you feel that you are superior? Why? Because based on what I'm seeing is that they're economically stronger. And as a result, they will display this behavior of superiority, and they'll go on oppressing. They'll go around oppressing our people, our Afro-Guyanese, because they're not economically strong. So I am saying, if we can rectify the Afro-Guyanese economic situation, we can resolve all those problems, because the history will show. And our history didn't begin with the PNC. Our history began long before Indo-Guyanese came to the shores. I am saying, let's go back to our histories. Our foreparents left us well. We need control over our lands. Our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, when they come to this country, or they want to come to this country to do business, they must have to go to the government, particularly they don't think the government solve their interests. They can come to us. They can get lands. They can get stuff to develop themselves and do business. And this will form the basis, hopefully, for a black economy, because the economy must demonstrate all races where the pie is being divided equally. That will foster greater respect and greater cooperation, because everyone is playing a role. Everyone is playing a role, and we were left well. Our foreparents took care of that. We need to get back there. Unfortunately, a lot of our brothers and sisters in those political parties, particularly the party that's perceived as a black party, like the PNC or whatever, they don't do this, and they don't educate the people, and they need to do this. Our history in this country didn't start with them. It started long before. And until we do this, we wouldn't know where to turn or where to lean our backs. Which will bring us to our next topic, maybe, we want to ask about in terms of the leadership when it comes to the leadership of the PNC and my take on where that is going.
That is definitely not my next question, but it is part and parcel of
I'm very sorry.
The questions that I have for you. But that is coming up. It is not now. So
Okay.
It is coming up. You are a CFAR man. It is coming up.
All right.
So, having said all of that, and I thank you so much, Honorable Udo Best. I really do. I appreciate that piece of 5 minutes piece. Would you describe
Thank you,
this installed PPP regime headed by Barra Jagdeo and assisted by Irfan Ali? Do you view this current regime, PPP regime, as racist?
Well, they have not been doing anything to make the people think otherwise or make me think otherwise. They've surely been acting in a racist way. And they have a few Afro-Guyanese there on the front, and it's clear to everyone to see that they're basically just figures. They're just being instructed, and they're just following out instructions. They haven't demonstrated anything other than that.
You're on the ground, Honorable Odo.
Okay, yeah.
I feel comfortable calling you Honorable in front of your name, addressing you as Honorable. You know why? Because many of those who are running around the place with titles like honorable. They want you to address them as honorable MP and on. They don't do half the work that you do. So I honestly, from the bottom of my heart, feel comfortable addressing you as honorable. I have seen you around with your camera and making an effort to make that difference in your country, in our country, indeed. So as you walk the streets, yeah, as you go through the alleyways and so forth, Tiger Bay, Agricola, all over you are. What are some of the sentiments expressed by the people on the ground, not on Facebook, on the ground? What are they talking about in terms of this current installed regime?
Well, I'll be very honest with you. I've been talking a lot with a lot of persons. I've been listening to them. I've turned back and engaged some of them. They're not happy. They're not satisfied. Even the persons who have supported them and supported and work hard and getting them there, they're not happy and they're not satisfied. And persons are saying, look, them is the same thing. Everyone is saying, look, we need new leaders. This is the sentiment that we were getting. We need new leaders. And for persons to say that we need new leaders is to clearly show that they're fed up and disgusted with the kind of leadership that the two major political parties have been offering them. For them to take that position.
Okay, good. What are three things that people are disgusted with by this? Forget about the PNC and coalition for now. We know what they did when they were in office.
Yeah. Okay.
And again, in my opinion, they did far better than what the PPP ever did in 23 years. But we're not getting to that as yet. What are three things citizens are fed up with about this current installed regime? Three things.
The first thing on the agenda is the economy, the cost of living. There have been a spike in cost of living, and no one can say exactly the reason for it. And as little have been done to cushion that. And there's always something that a government can do, a caring government can do to cushion the effects of what people are saying, listen, I have problems eating. I have problems paying my bills. I have problems making the ends meet. The second thing people are concerned with is crime. The second, because crime is also on the increase. Those little boys, I don't know what's happening, but those guys gone mad again. And it's total disrespect for people. Thirdly, people are concerned again about the corruption. Their doors have been opened back for corruption. I could remember under the previous administration, people are just scared to do certain things. Now all that's open back. The doors are open back for that. Do as you like. Do as you like. Do your stuff, make your money on the side and let things happen.
What about the return
so those are the
of
three things.
Extrajudicial killings? We saw what happened with Colin Oren out in Essequibo and other extrajudicial killings. What is your take on that, sir?
Well, I really can't speak too much about it, but what I know, the case with Oren is clearly a case whereby the police force have been paid by private individuals, in my view, to do what they did. To kill a Guyanese for whatever reason. The police force was recruited to execute. And that, in my view, the payee or the payer was not a member of the police force. It was a private citizen recruited them to execute that guy. The signs are all there.
You know what? I'll say this.
The signs are all there.
The signs are all there that it was a paid hit, and they used members of the SWAT team for that. Maybe that explains, and it's probably a powerful individual who paid the police, the SWAT team, to head to Essequibo to do that paid job, to murder that businessman. That is why the police is delaying this whole process of investigations and so forth, right? Because they are stymieing the process. So by the time the information gets to the police complaints authority, by the time it gets back to the police legal advisor, and by the time it gets to the DPP, guess what? You know, Mr. Best, you know.
It's not mixed up. I had my situation with the police force. I know how they operate. I look at the situation also the Henry boys. It's clear. The situation is clear. It is clear as day. Persons who are involved there, or who respond to execute those boys, powerful persons, paid away, wherever, and the police force just doing, and the Guyana police force becomes so disgraceful and shameful and shameless. They're doing this thing even blatant. That's the kind of corruption that people are fed up of. Because they feel that they have the cover to execute such a thing.
Good point. Good. I'm getting to like you. I'm getting to like you, Odo. Not in that way, but I'm getting to like you. Right. I'm getting to like you.
Sorry.
Yeah, don't get carried away, but I'm getting to like you. I want to ask you a question as it pertains to this here. A young man, the police claiming, had a piece of sponge, wire, and a lighter, and destroyed the entire Brickdam police station. And then they're claiming that that young man confessed to that crime. What is your take, Mr. Best? What is your take?
It's utter rubbish. It's utter rubbish. It doesn't make any sense. And even if people had persons or scores of persons who were not clear as to what exactly took place, what at the time, what took place afterwards made it abundantly clear there's a whole conspiracy, because the fire chief situation that the president came and behaved as though he was so disappointed and was so angry and annoyed, right? And when we sent home the chief, then a few days after, he's back on the job. So I said, but that tells the whole story of what exactly took place there. And indeed, as the young man clearly said, when reporters spoke to him when he was going in, and I think he was coming out of the course to go in the prison van, he was set up. He doesn't know anything about it. I believe him. I don't believe the president.
We all don't believe Mr. Irfan Ali. We don't believe the man who sits there as Minister of Home Affairs. We don't believe the man who sits there as the Commissioner of Police. We don't believe the crime chief. We don't believe those so-called police investigators or detectives. We just don't believe that that guy was set up and he was forced to make a confession or to give a confession statement. That's the only evidence they have against him. In which court that forced confession will stand up? The guy has already denied making that confession. I don't know. Mr. Best.
This is what I find strange. Guyana, with an atrocious police force as we have here now, this police force seems to be getting out of criminals what professional, real top professional police force around the world have not been getting. An atrocious police force such as ours here we have in Guyana, they've been able to get confessions from criminals where other police forces in the world that are so much highly more trained and organized are not unable to get. What are they really saying to us as a people? And it's because of our behavior as a people that causes these people to continue doing this foolishness to us, and we don't let them know what time it is. Because Guyanese people, trust me, they're not that as foolish, because when I speak to them on the streets, they tell you straight what's going on, they know what's happening. So we just play, Guyanese people just playing a game. They're fully aware what's happening in this country.
You know, I oftentimes say to people, Mr. Best, again, I agree with you. You're scoring a lot of points on this show tonight, because I agree with you again. A lot of people, especially the politicians, especially maybe those who think that they're up there, right? Proper, you know what I mean? They take the ordinary folks for granted, right? They take grassroots people, so to speak, for granted. They take the people in Tiger Bay, in the ghettos and so forth for granted. And one of the things that I always knew, because I'm a roots man, a real grassroots man. I don't wait till elections time to talk grassroots.
Okay.
I'm grassroots. And I have a
All
lot
right.
of respect
All
for
right.
people who are in the ghettos, because a lot of times those people, I agree with you, Mr. Best, they know what is going on politically, socially, economically. They can talk the talk in the streets. Those people are not kunumunus. They are smart people, and I respect them for that. Thanks for reminding us. So the people know what's going on.
And just to interject this little piece, in connection with that, is that I heard you said previously on your program that Guyanese people, don't matter what, always seem to go back to PPP or PNC. This is not entirely true, you know.
No, I didn't.
This is not
I'm not the one. Mr. Best, I don't believe in that. I know that a lot of PPP
because the Guyanese people
are walking away
have
from
demonstrated.
Sorry, go ahead.
Guyanese people have demonstrated the Guyanese people have demonstrated in 2015 that listen, we had enough of the PP and the things that was happening there. A lot of those Guyanese came and voted for the coalition. Some of them abstained deliberately to ensure that the PPP fall. Right? Before that, when the AFC force came, the AFC came with this narrative, vote change, not race. That was something new and something catchy. The first election, they got 3 seats. The second election, I think they got 5. And the third, they got 7, something thereabouts. Which shows that Guyanese people are willing, once they are presented with the right kind of leadership, they are willing to make those changes. But you have to understand the mindset of the people, the psychology of the people. And you have to be able to present to them something that they could hold on to and say, well, yes. And these foolish politicians we have in this country didn't get a wake-up call.
You know, they will get a wake-up call indeed. They will get a wake-up call. But the AFC, when they were formed, they ran the first elections was in 2006. They got a couple of seats, but they were robbed 1 seat. They were robbed of a seat in Linden, Region 10. And guess who squatted in that seat? They stole that seat. Sam Hines squatted in that seat for 5 years. And then they ran again in 2011. Yeah. Go ahead.
That wouldn't be surprising because judging from what came out of the national recount in 2020, now we know for sure, we're not guessing anymore. We know for sure what has been going on with the elections in this country.
Hold on.
Based upon what came out of the national recount.
Wait a minute. I did say that you're a CFAR man. In fact, that was my next question to you. That was my next question.
All right.
I like this guy. Let me take a sip. I like this guy.
It's all right.
I like you. And a lot of liking from me this evening. Don't get carried away with the kind of liking, but I like your style. Let me ask you this. Describe for our people. A lot of people are calling you a CFAR man. But describe for our people, Mr. Best. What is your take on the 2020 elections? And as I have described and I continue to describe, this current PPP regime as being installed. They didn't win the elections. That's my take. What is your take?
Listen, Guyanese, near and far, locally and abroad, we all sat in front of our electronic devices and we looked at what was coming out of the national recount at the Liliendal. We all saw that 2020, the 2nd of March, we never had an election in this country. Right? It was a lawless event where political parties were involved in the highest level of form of skullduggery, supported by some international players. Because they all have a plot to get a particular people in so that they can achieve a particular goal. And God in his wisdom caused a natural recount, as everyone would know that Mr. Granger made a very foolish and a silly mistake in allowing it. There was wisdom in that. If we never had that recount, we would have never known what exactly was going on in this country over the years. The level of lawlessness and the people that we perceive as people of integrity really don't have any. Because for Jack D to come on the national airwaves and say that they win an election, you catch me? You're lawless. For the president to come and say that you win an election, if I'm going to say you're lawless, because we all saw the same thing. For you to want to remove those agents of the electoral machine, which ensure that they make it known that this could not have been, and make it known that, listen, I cannot support this kind of stuff, to have them removed because of this is lawlessness. To say to this nation, we're not stupid. We all saw there was no election in 2015. In 2020, there's basically a selection, try to dress it up, but then they were exposed in the process. So Guyanese people are now aware. And when these topics raised, they would normally say, oh, SOPs. I don't want to hear foolishness about SOPs. Tell me what is more relevant and important than anything else. Let's look at what took place at Lillian Dad. What came out of the national recount? What came out of the national recount was very clear for everyone to see and know that, listen to me, man. We had no election. We had a selection supported by international players, and we need to start producing leaders. We need to start producing leaders in this country that understand. We need to start producing leaders in this country that understand how to play it internationally, because Guyana is now on the world stage. And all the people that's running in those political parties and wanting to lead it, that need to understand, how are we going to play America? How are we going to play Canada? Because all these were culprits in that election. All these people in England continue to be culprits in the running and the affairs of the Guyanese people, because we have a lot of which they want. We have a lot of wealth. Something that most Guyanese are not conscious of, and most Guyanese people are not strong and brave enough to let's come together and work together to ensure that what we have remains and works for us.
Again, Mr. Best, you score another point from me. I like you.
Thank you very much.
I like your style.
Thank you very much.
I really do like your style.
Thank you very much.
I really do like you.
Thank you very much.
Your style.
Thank
a lot
you
of people are saying that they like you too. I know our operator Lemon likes you too. What you're saying is exactly what people are saying on the ground. I'm not saying this to be funny or facetious or whatever. Facetious, sorry. I'm saying this because it's from the bottom of my heart. I like what you're saying.
All right. Thank you very much.
Now this leads me, because we're looking at the time. It appears as though people would love for us to go all night, but we can't. You have to get up to go big
all
market, right? What is your
I have
take,
my business.
sir?
What is that?
That is true, sir. What is your take on the current or the situation with the PNCR as they prepare for its Congress to elect a new leader and other members in other positions? So far, we have 3 persons who have declared their candidacy. We have Dr. Richard
Joseph Harmon.
We have Dr. Richard Van West Charles. We have Aubrey Compton Norton. and we have
Mhm.
Joseph Frederick Harmon. Let us start with
Mhm.
your take on Dr. Richard Van West Charles.
I think Mr. Van West Charles should opt out of the race. And this is why I'm saying so. I had personal experience with him. In 2015, when I was the campaign manager in Grove Diamond here, he came and he offered us some support from the AFC side. And he saw me perform on the ground. He wanted to meet, we spoke, he gave us some support, we were very grateful. But then he brought someone who came from the PPP, who now says he's a coalition supporter, to our camp. And if I wasn't smart and understand how to maneuver, I would have suffered, and my people would have suffered in Diamond, big time. When the coalition got into power, I think about months after a year, I became seriously ill. My mom wanted to know if it was poison because my skin started peeling and some funny stuff started going on with me. And let me tell you what happened. I could remember getting on to Mr. Van West Charles when I said, and he said, what happened? We started talking. I tell him, I'm not feeling well. I've got a real situation. I said to Mr. Van West Charles, listen, I got a situation. I need some support. Right? Right now I need I gotta get some medication. I got things to do. Right? And I'm financially, basically, I'm out and need some support on certain things. And at that time, Mr. Van West Charles already started making money. Mr. Van West Charles, they never reached out to support. And this is somebody who worked with me, who saw me perform on the ground. Right? So it tells me right away that I'm getting the impression that you seem to be very selfish and you're not very keen on trying to develop people. That was a test for him that he failed. Because for me, he failed, and for my family and friends who know the situation, he failed. And I don't think such a person should go into the race. Taking into consideration, this is a critical time. Guyana is at the crossroads now more than before. Because now the international players have sites in Guyana more than before. And based upon what took place in Guyana in 2020, we all can see and know the level of international involvement into our politics. And we don't need people like this. And you don't need behaviors like there are people with behaviors like this to be any part there. You need strong, you need keen, visionary leaders. So I think he should opt out.
All right. We thank you for your honesty. It is called democracy. You've exercised your constitutional rights, and I respect your rights for that. But this is your opinion, mind you, and I respect your opinion as well. Let us move to. Fair enough. Let us move to the current opposition leader, Joseph Frederick Harmon. Your take, sir.
No, listen, I can be very honest. I think Mr. Joseph Harmon is in a position, presently as leader of the opposition, he's supposed to be the most advantageous position and demonstrate by his ability to produce and his ability to get things done. And for everyone now can see that he have not, I've been doing that and he have been failing. He have not demonstrated his ability to get the work done, get the job done, and his level of vibrancy. This thing is not about dressing in fancy clothes, fancy suits, driving a fancy car. It's about understanding the needs of the people and be able to be a fighter. And he have not demonstrated that. So that he started failing even before he entered the race.
Okay.
Because people can look at you, judge you from your work.
Just give me a second.
Yeah.
Just give me a second.
It's okay.
We get one more still. You ain't got nothing to drink? Let's take a drink, man. You ain't got nothing to drink?
I already had my drink.
drink again. Let the people see you drink.
Earlier. I already finished my drink. I'm going to look for something to drink when I finish the program.
I hear you, Mr. Best. But we're looking at the time, though. Let's go to this guy, Compton, Aubrey Compton.
No, Aubrey is the only person that you can say and seem to be liked by people that think that he have the solution. But what I think Aubrey should have been doing, not now, and this is what these people don't get and don't understand. I am not being in the hierarchy of any political party, but I have my little movement, and I have been trying, and I've been doing my thing. And I've been working with the people through the movement of civil unity, meeting them in different parts of the country, seeing how we can resolve situations, concrete ideas. A lot of times we don't get certain things right, but hey, we still hold on and still trying. I still spending from the little resources I have to make things happen. Now, if Aubrey have been doing that, because he's a very famous man in Guyana, and he's very influential from my understanding, he should not lose his influence long now to be working with the people and doing things for people very effective, where the people can actually see and feel, well, yeah, this is something tangible. You have not even been doing this. So I don't understand the kind of leadership that we ought to expect. I think, in my personal view, you should have had, I don't know why Christopher Jones is not in the race. I think people like Christopher Jones should have been in the race. I think people like Sharma Solomon should have been in the race. They have been trying their own little things and their own little ways, do here and there, and doing the stuff, in spite they being curtailed or being muscled by party leaders or party officials, but they still be doing the stuff. They should have been, I think people were able to connect to them even more. Right now, people are running out. Aubrey Norton seems to be winning, as you said earlier, the Facebook race, because in terms of popularity, he's most popular and he'd been seen to be getting it. But Aubrey Norton, my brother, I think he needs to do more work. Personally, I think he needs to do more work in terms of his dealing with people and how to deal with people. That is something I've been missing, and all these candidates, all through this kind of have been absent from the personality, and that is where Jack Dio spent a lot of time, as little opposition doing, working on his relationship with people and how to deal with people. Even though he might really get, when he gets in there, he might shaft them, as we'll say, but he spent a lot of time understanding how to deal with people. And you need to understand, people relationship is very important, and they need to do a lot of work with that. I think Nigel Hughes have been doing a greater job than all three of them in his capacity just as a lawyer alone.
Mr. Udo Best.
We need, yeah.
Mr. Udo Best, thank you so much for your honesty. Thank you so much for your honesty.
It's a pleasure.
People are looking, people are saying, like, based on your opinion, like Mark and like Udo now, he ain't saying he like Udo. But let me say to you, Mr. Best, I like your style, I respect your honesty, and yes, I like your style. Now, we're looking at the time. You are going to be back.
All right.
And I promise our listeners, especially our operator, Lemon, we want to hear more from you whenever you do your lives, whenever you're around Georgetown. We want to be able to carry that, because we do believe that is where the real fight is.
Thank you very much.
That is where the real fight is.
On the ground.
On the ground. And I want to, on behalf of all of our listeners, and this is not throwing shades of anybody, because people love to attack people and say people aren't throwing shades. No, the fight is on the ground. That is where the fight is. I want to present to you tonight a gift, because I know you're always on the ground. This is what I want to present you with this.
Mm-hmm.
Boots. Boots.
We did it. Thank you very much.
A new pair of boots for the ground. Real boots. Because you're a real trooper. You're a real soldier. I appreciate and I respect that.
Thank you very much.
I respect people who are brave enough to talk the truth and who are straight up. Before we go, of course, I want to have you give your closing remarks on whatever you want to talk about in the event that I haven't asked you something that is important that you want to let our people know. Go ahead, sir.
I think we've already had them here for quite some time, and we don't want to keep them longer. and we need to keep it short and sweet. But I would like the people at this point to understand that as a leader of the movement of civil unity, we are trying our best to see how much that we can work with the people on the ground. I want to come with a new version of a program that will hopefully get the interest of the people, and as our brother Benschop just said, to get a real feel of the ground. You understand? So people gotta hear for themselves. This is what the people feel, and this is what the people think about this situation. So we be working with that. So you guys look out for us for the movement of civil unity. I would like to thank Mark very much for giving me the opportunity to be here. I really do appreciate it. For those persons who have give good comments about me, thank you very much. For those persons who abuse me, thank you very much. And understand that I have a job to do, and I'm committed to my job. And I came back from the Middle East, and I came here because I love my people and I love my country, and I want to see my country do well. And I would not stop until I'm ended or that happens.
Mr. Udo Best, thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. We wish you the best, and we want you to be safe as well. You and your family. Thank you. And salam alaikum. Good.
Walaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hayyakum Allah.
I like that guy. He's a fighter, a street fighter, a grassroots fighter, a man who's on the ground, in the gutters, in the trenches, in the rivers, on the streets, in the ghettos, in the markets, at the back of the markets, in the front of the markets, all over. He is. He's a fighter, a true fighter. There's nothing more that I want to say. There's nothing more that I want to add. Other than, I hope most of those opposition members of parliament are listening to what Mr. Udo Best had to say, including those who are running for leadership of the PNCR. He has expressed the sentiment or sentiments of most Guyanese, including me. That's all I wish to say. That's all I wish to say. There's nothing else that I want to add other than thank you, Mr. Udo Best, for being my guest this evening. Thanks to our operator, Lemon. And thanks to all of you, our beautiful, beautiful people, wherever you are. Especially those people, those lovely people in that little village called Philippi on the quarantine. And I can't leave out Alnis village as well. Both villages. God bless you all. God bless our country. They're selling out our country in Dubai, and the people in Tiger Bay are punishing. The people in Black Bush Polder are punishing. The people in Monrepo, Lancaster, Liverpool, Manchester, Alverston, Salton are punishing. The people in Christianburg, 1 Mile, Wisrock, Ituni, let them all over are punishing. Pray for our country, please. Pray for our country. These people at the installed regime don't give a damn about the country. See you guys later. Love you all.
It's hard, it's hard, it's hard to be at peace with the ones who are so discard. It's hard, it's hard, it's hard. Them have a knife in your back and them smile it so broad. Help me to deal with the ones them who said them love me when them really don't. Help me to deal with the fans them kill me flesh when the crowd a shout. Jesus, help me on the battlefield. Jesus, help me on the battlefield. Help me on the battlefield. God, the booby traps with them set is real. I never want to take your glory, Lord. Send your angels to encamp around about me and stand guard. To envy is so easy and to love it is so hard. Let me work for your glory and not for the award. Don't make me ever get caught up in the scream and the applause and go talk about the blessing and not talk about the Lord. All these things are vanity. I need when them really don't. Help me to deal with the fans them. Give me flesh when the crowd are shout. Jesus, help me on the battlefield. Jesus, help me on the battlefield. Help me on the battlefield. God, the booby traps with them set is real. Sticks and stones can break my bones, and words can harm me. They can harm me. When the evil come against me, you'll protect me. You'll protect me. Father, I need the strength of your son, cause you know my work is not done. Lord, I need that endurance just to finish this race that I run. Help me to deal with the ones them who said them love me when them really don't. And help me to deal with the fans them. Kill me flesh when the crowd are shout. Jesus, help me on the battlefield. Jesus, help me on the battlefield. Help me on the battlefield. God, the booby traps with them set is real. You tell me if you stand firm, cause every little plan you have a confirm. I know them evil plan turn. In a darkness, me a the long term. So help me to deal with the ones that who said them love me when them really don't. Jesus, help me to deal with the fans them. Kill me flesh when the crowd are shout. Help me on the battlefield. Jesus, help me on the battlefield. Help me on the battlefield. God, the booby traps with them set is real. Help me to deal with the ones them who said them love me when them really don't. Help me to deal with the fans them. Kill me flesh when the crowd are shout. Jesus, help me on the battlefield. Jesus, help me on the battlefield. Help me on the battlefield. God, the booby traps with them set is real. Help me to deal with the ones them who said them love me when them really don't. Help me to deal with the fans them. Give me